everybody. I'm Kristen.
And I'm Will.
And this is So I'm Watching Andor, Season 2, Episode 1, 1 year later. You're very excited.
I'm so psyched. Yeah. Do you want to talk just like briefly and broadly about Andor in general? Like
Sure.
Just Season 1?
Sure.
Not just like jump straight into a...
Yeah.
Because we didn't cover it at all.
We didn't cover it at all, and we're not going back, so...
No, we're not going to do it again. I mostly just want to like state outright, like, we did just rewatch Season 1.
Yep.
I had an opinion at the end of Season 1. My opinion remains the same after rewatching it. I think it's by far the best thing they've put out on since like they've acquired the Star Wars property.
Disney?
Yes.
Okay. When does Rogue One fall on that?
Rogue One was the first thing they put out.
From Disney?
From Disney,
okay.
Yeah.
I like Rogue One.
I like Rogue One a lot also. I think Andor is just like, because it's a show.
Yeah.
It's
you get
more. I think it feels, I mean, I think Rogue One nails the aesthetic as well, as good as Andor does. Mm-hmm. This is such a weird thing that I connect to Star Wars in this way, but the like boardroom scene,
sure.
all the Empire boardroom scenes, mm-hmm. where like the older guy and like where Dedra and
yeah.
and the other guy are like kind of vying for power. I think like those are so reminiscent of like classic Star Wars to me.
Yeah, I agree.
And like just like the architecture and stuff, it felt the same way at the beginning of this first episode in the like testing base, mm-hmm. where we start.
Well, to the very point that you were like, oh, I bet this is on the Death Star.
Yeah.
Well, before we saw the outside.
Yeah, I just wouldn't have been surprised if we were like introduced to it. It's huge.
Yeah.
And it's like one of its first runs is Rogue One.
Yeah.
So it's like, it got to be in motion already. I mean, it's like a 4-year time jump or 4-year run, mm-hmm. from, I guess, where we start now to when Rogue One starts.
Did you like see that in an article or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
So anyway, that's all I wanted to say was that I really do like Mandalorian, especially like season 1 of it. I think that is really like a Star Wars thing. Like that feels very Star Wars. To me, Andor feels like, you know how you say like the Harry Potter books grow with the reader. Mm-hmm. Like if you start reading when you're 11 and they grow with you, like they become more mature but they still feel like that. To me, that's exactly what Andor is. It like grew with the viewer.
Oh, okay.
So like I saw Star Wars when I was too young to remember.
Yeah.
The first time I saw it. And now as an adult, I love that the guy that fucking made Michael Clayton is making a Star Wars show. I think that's sick. And he's like applying that stuff super well. I just think all of like the political intrigue actually is intriguing. Mm-hmm. And the fact that we like know where it's going is not a bother to me. I'm not like, oh, I know where this is going. I know he's not in danger, but they've cultivated a group around him, mm-hmm. that all feels dangerous. Yeah. Even though we know the exact moment that he dies.
He's gonna die. Yeah. I agree. So okay, I guess we'll just sort of get into it. This picks up 1 year later from the riot on Ferrix. This is a fun reversal where it's not going to be the normal Will having the trouble with the names. It's going to be me having trouble with the names.
I'm not going to be great with them either, I don't think.
So Cassian is on an Imperial site, and he has, with the help of another like rebel, but who is working for the Empire, though.
My assumption is that she did not infiltrate, is that she was turned.
She was turned.
She's like a normal person.
Okay.
Like a mechanic who like got a job just like anybody would, like maybe you take a job that you don't want, but it's like she was young.
Okay.
Like that's the thing is like I painted this whole picture very easily for myself.
Sure.
I'm not a very creative person when it comes to like storytelling. Yeah. I'm like, she's a young mechanic. She's just like Bix. Like what would Bix have done if she was on like a more federated planet? Like would her options would have been more for the Empire. Like, so maybe she takes a role like that.
Will's gonna start writing fan fiction. She was good though, and her stuff with Cassian was good. She was like, "Oh, I wasn't supposed to look at you. I swear I didn't see anything."
That scene was also really good because Cassian throughout the first season is like very standoffish.
Yeah.
And over the year that they've been now like doing this in that gap, that showed like he's matured. He's definitely more of a leader.
Yeah.
He knows how to be like inspirational to the people around him to like maybe, you know, in like a way that like Luthen almost is like kind of slimy about it sometimes in season 1.
Yeah.
He like seems
he's like actually really reassuring.
Yeah.
What he has not gotten better at is piloting this ship. He like is very confident that he can do it, and then he gets in there and sees that it's like all tricked out, and he's like, "What the hell is this?" And then he absolutely like demolishes this outpost.
It's a very Independence Day moment.
Sure.
Where he like pushes the wrong way and it goes backwards and oops, and he flips the thing around.
He just like kills a ton of stormtroopers. He blasts one straight through the door or through the wall, and then he just blasts more holes through the wall instead of trying to actually steer out the open bay. It was very funny. He does get the hang of it enough just in time to escape the other
I do want to say
coming after.
Before he leaves that's just like another example of like how good this show has done at like replicating the previous like architecture and stuff, but in like a cool way. Like the whole like the first couple of minutes where the mechanic is like going around the ship and checking it and checking, it's all like there's no dialogue, but like it's like a black screen, and then just the way the lights came on, I was like, oh, that's awesome. And then it's like the really clean like Empire all white like this that we know from like the Death Star, and I played a handful of the video games. So
it's kind of similar to me with like Alien, like where everything still looks like it's run off of MS-DOS.
Yeah.
Even the new movies, they're still
specifically Romulus, I think, executed that the
Romulus
best.
Was really good at that.
But they've all done the same thing, like with Star Wars. I think Andor executes it the best, where like it's just like a red button, and it doesn't say anything, just push the button and it's like fucking does something, I guess.
Yeah. So he ends up getting off that planet.
There's a really great chase.
It was a really good chase through the valleys.
I think they're a different type of TIE fighter. Yeah. He was in like a different type of TIE fighter as well. But yeah, it's very like trench run, reminiscent of the trench run, and he outpilots them and does manage to get himself out of there. I think
he got some luck, but
for sure. He barely got that thing off the planet and landed somewhere else.
Flying that.
Yeah.
So he crash lands on this other planet. Well,
he lands. I mean, it's a heavy set down, but he doesn't crash it. It's functional.
Sure, yes, it is functional. He lands on this other planet. He gets kind of immediately taken by some people.
Like just like a rebellion sect.
Is that what they are?
Mm-hmm.
That's definitely what they are. Okay. Yeah. And so then the rest of the episode is basically them trying to determine whether or not he is Empire, whether or not they can pilot this ship, how many people they can go in, if they can take trips or not. We also get the information that they were not there 3 days ago when he left, so he knows that how long they've been there and that they got abandoned by one of their brothers. It was a little exposition dumpy.
It was a little exposition dumpy and frantic.
Yeah.
Because they were fighting, but I think that's kind of like the theme of this season leading into A New Hope.
Sure.
I guess
leading into Rogue One,
but like New Hope is like the rebellion has a new hope.
Yeah. Do you know what's wild about this show too? Is that it's a direct prequel to a direct prequel, and it's weird that works the best.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where it's like, I know exactly what's going to happen. Like, I know what's going to happen 40 years in the future, and I'm still like, it's gripping.
Yeah. The thing, like, I don't think that like knowing Anakin was going to be Darth Vader was like the bad part of those movies, though. Like, knowing what's coming can be fine as long as the rest of the stuff built around it is interesting.
Yeah.
So I did want to mention too, while we were talking about this group, the because it ties back into Andor being kind of unable to pilot this thing, is that like this group of rebels has a gal with them that seemingly is some sort of pilot herself, and they're all kind of inspecting it with her, and they keep being like, "What's this?" She's like, "I don't know." And Cassian also was like, "I don't know.
I don't know either, man."
She at one point says, "It's all new."
Yeah,
like this is like a new, like she was expecting, and Cassian was expecting the controls to be like a standard TIE fighter.
Yeah,
and this is different. So like he struggled to pilot it.
Yeah,
and then she obviously would as well.
Yeah. So that is like essentially the end with them. They end up getting in a big fight at the end.
Yep.
Cassian's trying to get back to the ship so he can just leave, but they've got him tied up, and then he gets tackled, and they're all shooting each other.
Yeah. The point of seeing them, or like this is the first time we'll see it, I assume we'll see this kind of thing a lot more, is the Luthen and Mon Mothma are not the only ones who want a rebellion and are trying to do a rebellion, and like they're disparate.
Yeah.
So like this group like wants things their one way, and people within that group want things their a different way. And they are obviously unfunded and whatnot. But the main theme of this season is going to be bringing enough of the resources together to actually enact action.
Yeah. So I want to go to the Empire meeting.
Sure.
In that boardroom.
Yeah.
It's very season 2, episode 1 of Severance. Where like with like a claymation video about all the things that they can do with the spider silk from this one planet, Gorham or something like that. Gorman. How interesting the spider silk would be, and like how all the uses, and also after they watch this propaganda video, it's like that's not all though. We need to go fracking because there's what is it? Calcite there. I've never heard of that before.
Nope.
You said no either. Okay, so there's calcite, but there's also like a heavy indigenous population to the planet, and then they're throwing around all kinds of ideas about how to get rid of them. And the one guy is just like, "What about a genocide?"
Yeah. Well, that's what Krennic has them there anyway. Because they, as the Empire, can just kind of go in and start doing what they want to do, but they do have to prepare. Or, in their minds, they do have to prepare for like some sort of uprising. That means they're just gonna kill them one way or another. They'll frack the planet until it's it's not fracking. Fracking is, one thing. They're like literally digging the core out of the planet.
Yeah. Just like extreme fracking.
Yeah. And their reasoning is that this calcite is some sort of energy independence.
Yeah.
It definitely doesn't sound anything like Saudi Arabian oil.
No, it definitely
He's definitely nothing reminded me of George Bush at all, especially not his haircut or how his face is kind of long, or that he was talking about getting in there for that oil.
Wait, George H.W. Bush?
Both of them kind of.
Okay.
But after 9/11.
Okay.
He was like, we're going to get that oil.
Because I think George W. Bush looks like a turtle. I don't think he has a long face. I think he looks like a turtle.
A little.
Yeah. The important things that we're talking about.
Yeah, yeah.
So
the hard-hitting stuff.
Yeah, so that whole scene, that's the whole thing that they're doing. It's just trying to figure out what's the best way to go about, like, subduing the locals, basically. Yeah. It's so that they can
part of it is
get in there.
They're going to present an evacuation kind of idea. They were like, that's the ideal. They weren't like, we want to go in there and blow up their planet. They just were kind of like indifferent to the idea of it.
Yeah. And so then Krennic takes Dedra apart and is talking about it.
She's wistfully staring out the window.
No. She's missing Cyril. Is my theory. I saw footage of them on a date, so I know that's
Cyril
coming.
To me is the thing that lifts out of season 1 the most. So I'm still unsure.
It's because of him how any of the stuff happens, really.
Yeah, but his like devotion to finding Andor is definitely like the propulsive thing at the beginning.
Yeah.
And there's like another step where like he does show up and he saves her.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like she takes over almost immediately.
No, for sure. I also prefer her to him.
100%.
For sure. But
I didn't dislike him, and I really like what's her name? Catherine something, the one who plays his mom.
Yeah,
Catherine Hunter.
I was just gonna say
she's a a bummer as his mom.
Yeah, I was like, he's very henpecked by her in a way that is just, it sort of makes him feel like impotent in his life, which sucks.
Mm-hmm. She also, to me, like, she almost is like sexless to me. So like, how
did you have a child?
So like, I don't really like buy.
Well, maybe
the two of them, really.
Maybe she adopted him like Marva did with Cassian.
Sorry, I meant Dedra.
Oh, Dedra feels sexless. Yes. Okay, I get it.
Yeah.
Well, she's gonna take her hair down.
Oh, that's it.
In those pictures that I saw.
Be it. She just seems like very devoted to
her job in the Empire.
Her job in the Empire, and like not in a way that the mechanic was just like taking a job. She's like climbing that ladder as hard as she can.
Yeah, because she does or Krennic takes notice of her and ends up talking to her and is like, I could tell you were holding something back. You definitely have thoughts. Like,
what are your thoughts?
What are your thoughts? And so they like exchange those ideas, and yeah, I like it. I'm excited to see where that's going forward, specifically from her point of view.
Mm-hmm.
I find Denise Gao like really interesting to look at.
She's intriguing
and like a really good actress.
Yep.
So that's really fun for me.
She does a good job of being interesting and like being okay and in on this kind of vile thing, but you're also not like, gosh, I hate her. You know?
Yeah, I'm not repulsed by her like I was with like General Hux.
Exactly. Yeah, they're not playing her snivelly like him.
Right. I'm trying to. Is the guy Tim? Is that his name? The one with Bix?
No, Tim was the one that she was like with that gets shot.
Well, IMDb just totally shit the bed. I'm trying to just because Tim is credited in this episode.
His name is Basso, I think.
Brasso, you are correct.
Brasso.
Okay, so
Brazos.
then Brazos.
Yeah.
So we can go to them next. Bix and Brasso and his wife.
Ish.
Yeah.
Or girlfriend. She's indigenous to that planet.
Oh, she is.
Yep.
Okay.
She was not with them.
Someone that they know there.
Because Bix mentions it to Will.
Okay.
Because he is kind of apprehensive about this one gal that clearly is into him, and she was like, it didn't stop fucking him and Talia.
Talia, yeah. Okay, so Brasso, Talia, and Talia are at least pretending to be a couple, and then
they're a couple.
Bix and Willman are also escaped with Brasso, and they're on this farming planet.
Mm-hmm.
And Bix is still having nightmares of Dr. Gorst, who really just is the creepiest looking guy you've ever set your peepers on.
You can't look like that and
play
like a normal guy. You got to only play creepy doctors that perform experiments on people against their will.
Specifically mental experiments. It's to the point where I wish that Dr. Curdle Jr. on Riverdale had a brother, because he could have definitely played his brother.
Dr. Curdle?
He was the medical examiner, like the morgue guy.
Sure.
Yeah.
The Emmy.
Yeah, so like Betty was always in there like asking to look at the body of whoever had just died. So we saw Dr. Curdle Jr. a lot.
Betty okay?
No! That's like the point of the show. So anyway.
They're living life. Cassian is like checking in with them.
Yeah, the robot is still there too.
His name is B2.
B2?
He's the best. I love him.
Yeah, so it's like, but okay, because what's his face is credited, Alan Tudyk, but also this guy Dave Chapman is credited as his voice, as B2's voice.
Okay.
So I don't know what Alan Tudyk's doing.
Whatever. I think he's just around.
He's just hanging out. He just gets credit on everything now. So anyway, they're there. Bix is still having nightmares, but she seems fine, like pretty good during the day. She's still trying to help fix things, like a big sprinkler in the wheat fields or grain fields, whatever they are. They're a little worried about Cassian, especially B2. It's like B2 emo. Yeah, okay. He's especially worried about Cassian because he's not back yet, and he should be. But aside from that and the girl that was hitting on Willman, we didn't get like a ton of actual except there's like Empire people coming to like take a census, sort of census.
All they know for sure is that there is a ship that they can see in the distance, in the air, like flying nearby, that they haven't seen in a long time, and some of them hadn't seen it ever because it's been so long. So They know that there's going to be some kind of Empire activity coming.
Yeah. And that brings us to my favorite part of this show, which is Mon Mothma and her many dresses.
Her many dresses.
Oh my God. She's so pretty.
She is very pretty.
Genevieve O'Reilly. She's so pretty. She's so good. I love her. It does appear that the wedding is proceeding with her daughter and the guy's son, who seems kind of a drip. He won't hold Lita's hand.
Yeah, and she gets upset.
And like runs away. Her dress looks beautiful. These girls are called peer maids, which I kind of hate.
Instead of bridesmaids.
Or like ladies in waiting or something, like peer maid. Maybe it's just because she's like young still, but I don't know. We got that bit in season 1 that Mon Mothma and her husband were betrothed when she was...
Yep.
Well, they got married when she was like 13 because she came to be a senator when she was
like 16.
14.
Yeah, young.
And they had already been married like a year, she said. Yeah, nuts. So I did want to note that because she seemed very, very against this and taken aback in season 1 when he suggested this wedding.
Yeah.
But everybody seems to be really taking it easy in this episode.
Yeah,
like nobody and the guy doesn't seem gross about it. The like banker isn't being gross about it, because I had forgotten, and when we were rewatching it, I was like, oh God, does he want to marry her daughter?
Right.
But it's like such an age appropriate relationship, and it's like doesn't seem gross. It's also fixed all of her money problems.
Yeah. They also don't
money
seem to
trail
be
problem.
They don't seem to be expecting her to be like a meek housewife, you know.
Oh my God, yes, because that conversation with the two dads was really good. Where
it was like, he'll learn or she'll lead or whatever.
Yeah, it was really, really
or
good.
He'll learn or he'll be led, you know.
Because he also was just like, she's not going to be easy.
Yeah.
And the guy was like, the boy's dad was like, well, he's definitely too soft, so
yeah,
whatever.
Yeah.
But he didn't seem like pissed about it.
No.
Which I appreciated that too.
Yep.
So she is potentially having some second thoughts, but I imagine this wedding will either go through or Mon Mothma is about to be discovered.
The interesting thing, just to mention from season 1, if you did not rewatch it along this, so we learned that Perrin and Mon Mothma were they were wed and then came to Coruscant to the Senate, and kind of got out of that like Chandrilan way of thinking, and that kind of, it doesn't seem religious, but it seems just like a kind of
very
like,
traditional
way of life with like a rule book, and like you do your braids in such a way, and yada yada. But and they were not pressing Lita, the daughter, to do that. Right. She found it on her own and found like it was like the only thing really that Mon said was like making her active.
Because she and Vel were talking, and she was like,
I can't believe
she like,
got into that.
What the shit are you letting her do, man?
So that conversation made it sound like this is like some awful thing, but like this wedding scene did kind of disprove that a little bit, and that even Mon herself did not seem at this point to be like vehemently opposed.
The thing that she was the most annoyed by is that Luthen was there.
Yeah.
Because she was like, what the fuck are you doing here?
We still don't really know what he's doing, because these Chandrilan weddings are multi-day.
Well, yeah, but he and the father of the groom both insist that he procured a gift for the couple. So obviously you can trust him as far as you can throw him, but that's what it seems to be.
Yeah.
Also, Clea and Vel keep having like a thing. Cinta was credited in this episode. I didn't see her.
Nope.
But presumably Vel is still with her.
Maybe.
So
I'm not going to presume that.
But something...
When she was talking with Clea, they were like looking at each other and talking about their situation because they haven't gotten along, but it was kind of almost like flirty, and then they like are in a nice little profile at their final shot, and then Clea's like, we're just two single ladies seeing
what's on the
market, and Vel literally goes and then walks away.
Yeah. So I will say I like her a lot too. Faye Marseille. She played the waif on Game of Thrones. I like her a lot. I miss the blonde hair. because she's got this like dark auburn going now. I assume the blonde was
it is a nice color, but just the blonde suits her so well.
I think the blonde was a disguise.
Well, she was pretty blonde in the Coruscant scenes.
I know, but I think she was still kind of disguised.
She's interacting with a lot of people on Chandrila. That I think she just changed her hair.
It's annoying.
I agree. I'm not gonna.
She's obviously still beautiful.
I'm not gonna dwell on it, but
so honestly, the other only really big thing we get out of this scene is that Tay has left his wife. Like they are separated.
Yeah, they were on a break.
Yeah,
if you know what I'm talking about.
But again, we can presume a lot of things. We can presume that the missing 400,000 credits have been taken care of because this wedding is underway. We can presume that everything is like generally okay with Perrin. We met some other just like Chandrillans. There's like a lot of drinking. It's just like night one of this wedding. I'm certain more stuff is going to happen.
100%. There's 3 episodes out, so I assume that we will see, but we will be done with it by the end of this.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, great. Was there anything I'm missing from that?
I don't think so. The end of the episode was the like little rebel group fighting, right, with Cassian.
Yeah.
He tries to escape and they tackle him. Yeah. And some of them tackle him. And then there's still other fighting going on.
Yeah, some asshole at the wedding, some assholes taking up 2 parking spots with a ship.
A governor.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I feel like that's going to be something.
Maybe. That may be just... Oh, I did want to mention that actually at the... this is not story related, but when we first see Mon again in this season, it's at the wedding. They are dealing with... Like the impetus is that fucking... The governor's parking. But that whole first shot when you see her is a oneer.
Yeah.
And we just like walk around with her and it's like up and down stairs and it's not really like in and out of buildings, but there are some structures that they're underneath. So like it was a good like we built some stuff kind of moment because there was 1 or 2 spots where I was like, go outside.
Yeah.
Like I know that there's not like a planet of wheat for them to go film
of course
in front of. But they did.
But do you know what there is? Iowa.
Yeah, just go outside. But like, I think the scenes with Andor and the rebel group. I think at least a chunk of that was outside, or it was at least a lot of it was like built trees and stuff. Sure. It looked good to me. But yeah, fucking go outside.
No, I agree.
It's the fucking volume is killing me. I'm over it.
Is that what the thing is called?
Yeah. It just makes everything look super flat.
Yeah. So yeah, overall, good.
Yeah, it's 2 thumbs up for me.
Good episode.
I'm super intrigued on where we're going. I'm interested in like how it's going to be structured. Like, I don't want to, maybe I shouldn't say I know, but I'm pretty sure that it's a 4-year gap that they're trying to cover and that it's going to be a pretty fast-paced final season of the show.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'm excited. They've put enough pieces in place, but not moved so quickly that it feels like we can't keep up. We had essentially like 3 main locations to juggle, and it was not. We had an hour to do so, so it was everything got plenty of time.
Yeah, absolutely. So the biggest issue that we're having is that they're dropping 3 per week at 9 p.m. on Tuesday.
This is psycho behavior.
We are going to probably be recording 1 on Tuesday night and then the other 2 on Wednesday night. So if I had to guess, you're going to get them Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Yeah.
So that should be our release schedule for the next 4 weeks.
We also don't have to push ourselves if we want to do like Wednesday, Thursday. If we're doing release schedule Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we only have to do Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Well, whatever.
So however you want to do it.
But
like,
yeah.
would not it be better if it was
no one's still watching
1 a night? Yeah, I know. I did the same thing last week. If there was not 1 a night for 3 nights, that's exactly what they did for Traders UK. And I was like, this is great.
If they just released it any time of the day besides 9 p.m. Eastern time.
9 p.m. is insane.
So yeah.
So
all right.
Dumb. I feel like everybody's testing the waters now to see like what the best way to do things is, and this one ain't it.
Well, the issue is that it doesn't matter if this ain't it. They're just going to keep doing it because everybody keeps doing it. Everybody keeps accepting it and watching it.
Yeah.
So, well, that's it though. Pretty good.
Yeah.
Excited. We're going to watch the other 2 tomorrow and then we'll go from there.
Hey.
Bye.
Bye.